Hi. So here we have some materials in the tray and we have a board. So let me see what materials we have in the tray. We have eye goggles, shades. Then I have a toy plane. Then I have a wooden ice cream stick or a spoon. I have a doorknob, metal doorknob. Then I have a pen cap uh, which has what do I say? It's an extension on one side. I have a lock. I have a book. I have a pen cap without um, the the protrusion on one side. Then I have two rattlers. Okay, I'm keeping all the things back in the tray after examining it. Now let us take one at a time. I'm taking a plane and keeping it on the board. Now ask the child to explore this plane completely, touch and feel and understand the parts. And then you ask the child to keep it in such a way that the wings are on either side of the body, one on left and one on right. Ask the child to note the observation whether the child is finding both the parts, the parts on the left that the child is feeling with the left hand is same as the part on the right. And if you have a wing, do you have wing on the left side? Do you have the wing on the right side? Do you have lights on the left side? Do you have lights on the right side? Do you have tail wing on the left side? Do you have tail wing on the right side? So when you touch with your left and right hands, observe whether you're touching the same things on either side and do they look same. So in this case, it does. In the case of the plane, it does. So um, when you find same things on the left and right, with along, so when I say left and right, it is with respect to us, the body of the plane in this case, right? From the body of the plane, if you go left, from the body of the plane, if you go right, you find parts that are same. So such an object is called a symmetric object. But the same object, if I hold it, if I change the orientation and hold it in such a way that the plane is moving from left to right. So the wings, there is one wing which is facing me, one wing which is facing away from me. Okay, so when I touch, my left hand and right hand is not touching the same parts. Where if I keep my hand on the plane and I start from the midline of the plane and move my left hand towards left and right hand towards right, I find that the parts are not same. Therefore, I can conclude although the object is symmetric, the line of symmetry has to be defined. So So the line of symmetry is along the body of the plane and not, perpendicular to that. Okay. So I'm using a lot of these words just to describe the video. But when you're when you're showing it to the child, depending on the understanding of the child, you could you could use the vocabulary. I'm keeping the plane back and taking the doorknob. So if I explore the doorknob, I can find the handle on the right side. I can use the handle, but I don't have the handle on the left side. Right. So when I keep it horizontally, even then, I move my hand from midline. I can't find the body The size of the body of the handle, the doorknob, same. So the doorknob is not a symmetric object. Okay, and then let me look at the shades, so sunglasses or goggles. Now I keep it in a certain way, and I move my hand. I mean, keep it in a way, in any way that I want, and then I start moving uh, both my hands from the midline. If I find the parts of the objects same, then the object is supposed to be symmetric with respect to that midline. Now that midline is called the line of symmetry. So I take this rattle and I start from the midline, and I notice that I find a circular object or a spherical object on my right, and an elongated object on the left. Therefore, the minute I do that, I know both my left and right hands are not touching the same things. So this rattle is not symmetric. I take the other rattle, I find two spheres on either side, and then two rings on either side, and in the center I have another ring. So, with respect to this center, if I start moving from that particular ring as center, and I find very similar things on both the same parts on both the sides. So, this rattle is symmetric. The wooden spoon, um, also, I find one side wider, the other side narrower. So, if I hold it with a different orientation, I'm able to touch the same parts on either side, on my left and the right side. So spoon is symmetric on one with in one orientation, whether it is not, and it is not symmetric in a different orientation. So I take the book, and I open it, I keep it down, and I find the midline and move my hands on both the sides. I find rectangular shape on both the sides. Now the center line, midline, which is from which I started moving both my hands, is called the line of symmetry. Okay, that is the technical math word that needs to be used. That's the line of symmetry. Okay, so I can do the same thing with the caps, the lock, any object that I find around the house. So the concept of symmetry first needs to be taught with a concrete object, 3D object like this, uh, rather than showing a 2D figure.